Hello everyone, good morning. Today we are going to do class 9, chapter number 7, part 2. There is an enormous number and types of living organisms on this earth. All these living things are identified and categorized on the basis of their body designs in form and function. That means whatever living things are there on this earth, they are identified and categorized on the basis of their body designs, on the basis of their function. Some characteristics are likely to make more wide-ranging changes in the body design than others. There may be some characteristics in the different organisms that will make more different ranging changes in the body design than others. There is a role of time in this. What does this mean here? Here this means evolution as well. So classification definition we have seen. Classification means identifying the organisms and then putting them on, arranging them into groups or sets on the basis of similarities and differences. So if you are asked what is the classification or define classification, you will write the method of arranging organisms into groups or sets on the basis of similarities and differences is called classification. And what is evolution then? Here first topic was our classification. Now next is evolution. So what is evolution? So evolution is the sequence of gradual change which takes place in primitive organisms over millions of years, in which the new species are produced. That means when changes occurs, when gradual changes occurs in primitive organisms and slowly they acquire complexity, their body designs changes over millions and millions of years and some new species are produced, we call it as evolution. And it is told here that there is a role of time in this evolution as well. So when a certain body design comes into existence, it will shape the effects of all other subsequent design changes. Once a certain design comes into existence, it will shape the effects of all other subsequent design changes. Why? Because it already exists. In other words, we mean to say that characteristics that came into existence earlier are more likely to be basic, more likely to be fundamental than characteristics that have come into existence later. That means those characteristics that came into existence earlier, sometime more ago, are likely to be more fundamental than that characteristic that have come into existence later on. And what does this mean? See, they have written here. This means that the classification of life form will be closely related to their evolution. That means classification of a life will be related to the evolution. Because when evolution has taken place, body designs has changed. Maybe older one has become new type one. some complexity has developed, then classification has to be done on the basis of the present one, evolved one, new one. So it is told the classification of life form will be closely related to the evolution. That means classification will be affected by the evolution. Now here question is, what is evolution? Definition I have already told you all, that evolution is the sequence of gradual change which takes place in the primitive organism over millions of years, in which new species are produced. Because of evolution, new species are produced. Most life forms that we see today have arisen by the accumulation of changes in the body design that allow the organisms possessing them to survive better. Maximum of the life that we are seeing at the present time, in today's scenario, what we are seeing, that have arisen, that has been produced by the accumulation, that means collection of changes, that means slowly so many changes got accumulated, collected. And what change, where the changes took place? The changes took place in the body designs. And what was the advantage of that? The advantage of the change in accumulation, or the accumulation of the change, the advantage is that the organism is able to survive better. Organism possessing them to survive better, because the scenario is changing. The climatic condition, different things in this world are changing. The atmospheric conditions are changing. And because of evolution, if certain body designs have taken place, a certain change in the body designs has taken place, some changes has occurred, then these changes is helpful to that organism, because it helps that organism to survive better. About evolution in a better way you will learn in class 10 in the chapter Heredity and Evolution. How evolution helps an organism to survive, how evolution helps the organism or increases the chance of survival of organism. You will study in class 10 about this. And Charles Darwin first described the idea of evolution in 1859 in his book The Origin of Species. When we connect this idea of evolution to the classification, we will find that some group of organisms which have ancient body designs that have not changed very much. What it is told to us, that when we connect this idea of evolution to classification, that means if the idea of evolution to classification is connected, if the idea of evolution is connected to classification, we will find groups of organisms which have ancient body designs that have not changed very much. This means if the idea of evolution is connected to classification, it becomes apparent that some groups or organisms with ancient body designs have not changed much. We will also find other groups of organisms that have acquired their particular body designs relatively recently. That means there are other groups of organisms that have not evolved their current body designs relatively recently. Those in the first group, what does this mean? That means with the ancient body designs. Those in the first group, that means those that are with the ancient body designs, are frequently referred to as primitives or lower organisms. That means they are considered those with the ancient body designs, they are considered or they are called as primitive or lower organisms. While those in the second group, what does this second group mean? This second group means with the recent body designs. Here second group means with the recent body design. They are considered or they are called advanced or higher organisms. In reality, these terms are not quite correct since they do not properly relate to the differences. So what can be said? It can be said that the first formed, that means the ancient one, older one, organisms are simpler, while the organism that has been formed later, that means that are formed in a modern time, are more complex. That means, in other words, we can say that the complexity in the design of simpler forms has evolved, has increased over time, and so they have become more complex. Now let us see what your book says. All that we can say is that some are older organisms while some are younger organisms. Since there is the possibility that complexity in design will increase our evolutionary time, it may not be wrong to say that older organisms are simpler while younger organisms are more complex. I already told this to you, because here only it has been made clear. Here, this part and this part. Advanced, primitive, lower, higher. So I explained you this part already. Now come to this question answer. Which organisms, here question is, which organisms are called primitive and how are they different from so called? So what will be our answer? The organisms that are having characteristics or organisms having characteristics that came into existence earlier are called primitive. In this part we saw, in this page we saw here, just we saw in this primitive one. And the organisms having characteristics that have come into existence later are called the advanced one or the higher one, as told here in this part. Higher here, advanced or higher. Next question number 2. Will advanced organisms be same as complex organisms? Yes. The complex organisms are comparatively more advanced as compared to simple organisms. The question is why? Because the complexity in organization of organism has increased over evolutionary time. Here it has been told to us. In this part it was told to us here, evolutionary time. Now this is here it has been told. So same answer we will write in this number 2. We will start the next part, the hierarchy of classification groups. Biologists such as Ernest Haeckel, Robert Whittaker and Carl Woese have tried to classify all living organisms into broad categories called kingdoms. And Robert Whittaker has proposed 5 kingdoms of classification: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. And this 5 system of classification is most widely used. And on what basis has this classification done? These groups are formed on the basis of their cell structure, mode and source of nutrition, and body organization. Further, this Robert Whittaker had done Robert Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification was increased in a better way by Woese, or we can say modification was done by Woese, and he divided, Carl Woese his full name, and he divided the kingdom Monera into 2 more categories, and that is we call Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. And this system is also in use. Further, classification is done by naming the subgroups at various levels as given in this one. That means kingdom is further divided into phylum. Phylum is grouped into class, class into order, order into family, and family into genus, and genus into species. Let us see the definition of each of these. Here in your book this has not been given. I will tell you about the definition of each of these. What does a species mean? We will go from bottom. It will be better for us to understand. Before we go to the definition, let us see this part. By separating organisms on the basis of a hierarchy of characteristics into smaller and smaller groups, we arrive at the basic unit of classification, which is species. That means basic unit of classification is species. So what organisms can be said to belong to the same species? That means which are having much similar. That means they are similar enough to breed and perpetuate. What does this perpetuate mean? Perpetuate mean to produce young ones of their own kind. Produce young ones or offsprings of their own kind, and to continue the species. So now let us see the definition of species. What does species mean? A species is a group of individuals with similar morphological structures which are able to breed among themselves and produce fertile offsprings of their own kind. And those individuals which will be of the same species resemble each other closely, both structurally and functionally. So now you understood the meaning of morphological, that means structural and functional. Now we come to genus. What is a genus? I had told that this is further divided into this and this and like that, so I am going from downward. So group of species belonging to the same group of organism belonging to the same species will be termed as genus. So what will be the definition of genus? It is a group of species which are related and have less characters in common as compared to the species. In case of a species, there is a much similarity, But in the genus, what we will see, it is the group of species, various species. Organisms of one species will be similar to one among themselves. Organism of this species will be similar to one another. But the organisms of different species, they are termed as genus. So it is a group of species which are related and have less characters in common. These species and these species, they are related to one another, but they are less characters in common. Next we have family. What is a family? It is represented by a group of related genus or the genera that are more similar to each other than with the genera of other families. Now in genus 1 I told you that it is a group of species that are related and have less characters in common as compared to the species. So let me give you an example. Banyan and fig trees, F-I-G, fig trees, differ from each other in their vegetative characters such as their shape, size and surface of the leaf, but resembles in their reproductive organ such as inflorescence, flower, fruit and seeds. Thus they belong to the same genus Ficus. In detail you will study about these all in class 12. So I am not going to tell you in much detail. Let me just tell you the definitions here. Family. What is a family? I told you the definition of a family. It is represented by a group of related genera that are more similar to each other than with the genera of other families. For example, a cat and a lion, they belong to the same family, Felidae. F-E-L-I-D-A-E. A cat's biological name is Felis domestica and lion biological name is Panthera leu, and they belong to the same family, Felidae. Now let us come to order. What is an order? It is an assemblage of families. It is an assemblage of families resembling one another in few characters. For example, a tiger, Panthera tigris, biological name, and a wolf, Canis lupus, biological name, share the common characters such as jaws. Their jaws are common. Both tiger and wolf has common jaws with powerful incisors and large sharp canines that help them in eating flesh. Hence they have been placed in the same order, Carnivora. Carnivora. You know about herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So here Carnivora, that is what I mean to say. Next is class. What is this class? It represents organisms of a related order. Those organisms which are of the related order, they will be put into the same class. Example: rats, dogs, bat, dolphin, camel, rhinoceros, kangaroo, monkeys. They belong to the same class, Mammalia. How these things are common? How these animals are common? Rat, dog, bat, dolphin, camel, rhinoceros, kangaroo, monkeys. How are they common? Or how are they similar? What characteristics do they have similar? Hairy, exoskeleton, milk gland, or we call mammary gland, external ear, and so they have been put into the same class, that is Mammalia. Now let us come to phylum. Phylum includes all organisms belonging to different classes having a few common characters. For example, all animals have a notochord present in the embryo belong to the phylum Chordata. Next we have kingdom. What is a kingdom? It includes all organisms who share a set of distinguishing common characters. Example, you see the animals and plants. they are completely different from one another. So we have plant kingdom and we have animal kingdom. Next, we are told here now the important characteristics of the five kingdoms of Whitaker. So what Robert Whitaker had given the five system of classification of organisms, five kingdom classification system, we are going to study the characteristics of each of those kingdom. First he had given was Monera. So we will study first about Monera. Monera, what is Monera? Or before going to Monera, I have already told you that this Monera has been further subdivided into Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So the kingdom of Monera has been further classified into sub-kingdoms Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So the organisms that belong to this Monera do not have a defined nucleus or organelles, nor do any one of them show multicellular body designs. So what do they show then? They show diversity based on many other characteristics. Some of them have cell walls, while some of them do not have. Of course, having or not having a cell wall has very different effects on the body designs here from having or not having having a cell wall in multicellular organisms. Why? Because the mode of nutrition in these organisms will be different. If cell wall is there, that means it is most likely to be plant type, and if do not have a cell wall, it is animal one. And if it is a plant then it is will be autotrophic, and if it is an animal, it is a heterotrophic. So this group includes bacteria, blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, and mycoplasma. Some examples have been shown to us in this diagram. You can see here. So what you have to learn in this, 1 or 2 points just to learn for class 9. More if you want. Maximum you can learn 5 points. 5 properties you must know of Monera and their examples. Next part of this chapter we will see in another video. Next part. Thank you.